Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dylan James. I'm a mindset coach that loves to specifically focus on relationships. And before we get into today's video, remember that life is not happening to you, but happening through you. When you become the change you seek to experience, you're going to experience that change everywhere you go. You are showing the world how to treat you based on what you believe and feel about yourself. And you are creating your reality on a moment to moment basis, contingent on the meaning and the value that you are assigning to the things that are occurring around you. All right. So, hi, everybody. This is my first live stream back on my channel. It's been a while since I've done a live stream. I have my coffee here. I have quite a few topics that I want to talk about. This is probably going to be a very long video. Okay. Because first off, you guys love the long videos. And anytime that I've done a long video in the past, I'm always like, I'm doing it in a sense of like, I want to give you the answers. I want it to be this. This is the video that's going to tell you everything that you need to know. You don't need any other content besides this video. I try and lay it out very, very clearly for you guys, because in order to really create these changes, you have to be able to actually apply it and take the training wheels off and trust yourself. And sometimes when you're watching too much content or you're constantly searching for answers, that's just a manifestation of you not trusting yourself, not believing in yourself, and that can really get in the way. So in the last video that I put on my channel, I talked about very tough circumstances that I went through, and I had to pull my energy back and be able to coach myself. I did that completely by myself. I did not have a coach. I didn't even talk to really anybody about it when I was going through that circumstance in my reality. And I trusted in my ability to be very self-aware, be very aware of what I was feeling, uh, lay out a plan for myself and implement it. Okay. But I am going to say this, this is what I come on here to talk about. I love helping people with their relationships. So it's okay to do these videos. I just know this is going to be a long video. Okay. It is. So another thing is when I do live streams, I know the live chat is not enabled. Okay. And there's a very specific reason why I do that, because typically people, when they go in the live chat, they're asking tons and tons and tons and tons of questions, and it distracts me away from what I want to talk about. And I can guarantee you, your question is going to be answered somewhere in this video. This video is going to give you kind of a way to check yourself, see what you're doing, see where you might be going wrong, and readjust yourself. So if you can put your questions to the side for just a second and just hear what I have to say here, okay? I promise you're going to hear the answer. Or you might just realize that, oh, you skipped a little bit too far ahead in the process and you need to focus on a different aspect for a second, which is fine. That's what being able to consciously create your reality is all about, is not to look at things as mistakes, but to really take an honest assessment as to where you are and if the approach you're taking is actually one that's going to get you the result that you desire, if you need to take a step back and readjust what you're doing. So if you have questions, okay, I'm not going to be answering specific questions because I disabled the live chat so you guys couldn't write them. So it's your turn to just listen, sit back, grab a cup of coffee. I have my cup of coffee here. I have a few notes. As you can see, it's very detailed. I'm not here to play today, you guys. Like, we are going to get into it. So I am going to talk about what we are discussing in this video first. If you want to see if this applies to you, if this is your first time here on my channel, like I said in my intro, I am a mindset coach. I really like to focus on the principles of psychology and understanding manifestation, and kind of bridging those two gaps so that you can create what it is that you want. So whether it's fixing a relationship, or you've never been in a relationship and you want to materialize a relationship, you can take what is said here and apply it to your life and other aspects of your life as well too. Your relationship could be a relationship with money, a relationship with who you think you are in your career, whatever. It really all does work the same. Okay, so I'm going to list what we're talking about here, and then we'll get into it. Okay, and you're going to see that I'm actually going to say a few quotes first about mindset, because I find that people also get kind of like, I don't know, their logical mind tends to resist the word manifestation a little bit, and I think that's just because, well, a lot of people think of it as this very, very magical thing and unrealistic. But the truth is, like, you're the only one creating your reality. So I'm going to use some quotes here that show why your mindset is important. And manifestation just means to materialize, right? So we're manifesting all the time. If you think manifesting is BS, it's probably because the way you've been trying to manifest things isn't actually aligned with the changes that need to occur in your mindset. But manifestation is absolutely real. I'm going to be, again, using some quotes that just show the importance of your mindset, self concept, and how to actually materialize these results. Okay. Um, Again, in the title of this video too, I specifically listed self-concept, feeling, and then persisting. And there's a reason why I listed it in that order, because when you try to go straight to persisting without actually working on your self-concept or acknowledging where you are in your feeling state, it's going to make the process a little bit harder. So there's a reason why I'm listing things in the way that I'm listing them. So I suggest that you watch this through instead of kind of skipping around. But I'm sure somebody will put timestamps in the comments. If you want to skip around, go ahead. It's just my suggestion that you start at the beginning and go all the way through so that you can get the full picture. Okay. All right. So what are we going to be talking about? We're going to talk about why your mindset is important. We're going to talk about what is self-concept. We're going to talk a little bit about internal dialogue. We're going to talk about perception, how perception is formed. We're going to talk just slightly, just a little bit on attachment models. I'm not going to go deep into attachment models. Okay. I just want to look at the secure attachment style, but I'm not going to go too deep into the other ones. Okay. Then I'm going to talk about your beliefs, your feelings, your thoughts. Okay. Which order they need to go in, your feeling states, how to shift your feeling state. Okay. Because that's really, really important. How do you know when you've actually shifted your state of being? And that's going to go more from the sense of Neville Goddard. If you've studied Neville Goddard, then you know he says that when you shift into a new state of being, that state is complete. Okay, so we're going to talk about how can you identify if you've actually shifted your state of being. Then we're going to finish on techniques. Okay, so this is going to be a long video. Give me a second. Let me have a sip of coffee. And let's first start with why is mindset important? Okay, so again, I'm going to say some quotes here. The first one that I'm going to say a few quotes and then we're going to talk about it. Okay, so from Stanford Report, the website said research shows that mindset plays a significant role in determining life's outcomes. From entrepreneur.com, the single most important factor influencing a person's success, whether personal or professional, is mindset. And then Dr. Jacob Towery says mindsets are a set of assumptions that help you distill complex worldviews into digestible information and then set expectations based on this input. Okay, so the reason why I wanted to start with why your mindset is important and the reason why I chose these quotes is because the first step to being able to create what it is that you want is you have to disidentify with who you have been or what the circumstances are that are in front of you. So this is not anything new that I've talked about on my channel, but essentially these are some quotes that I'm using to show you why I say circumstances don't matter. Okay. So again, research shows that mindset plays a significant role in determining life's outcomes. Your mindset is your beliefs, your feelings, the assumptions you're making, the expectations that you're setting. And in order to really materialize what it is that you want, you may be going in the direction of something that seems impossible or you have odds stacked against you. And trying to think in a new way or entertain new beliefs that are foreign to you can sometimes feel like you're lying to yourself. It can feel like a challenge. And you have to realize that in order to really materialize this desired result, it's going to require you to fearlessly shift into a new mindset. Okay. And so the set of assumptions that you're making or the expectations that you're making, you have to be able to see past what is in front of you and purely entertain what it is that you want. Who is that version of you that can sustain this result and take the focus off of the circumstances? And this is a really healthy thing to do. So I know a lot of people will typically have a little bit of resistance with mindset or manifestation because you're told to live in the end and expect something that's not currently in your reality, right? But you have to see that that is the very thing that you actually really do need to do if you want to be able to pull this off, and you have to do it fearlessly. It all comes down to your mindset and not allowing your logical mind to get in the way of you purely entertaining this desired outcome and believing in your ability to achieve it. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about what is self-concept. And this is from a book that I recommend pretty much everybody that's on my channel to listen to read. There's a free audio version on YouTube. It's not the first time that I've talked about this before. The book is called Psycho-Cybernetics. Okay. All of your actions, feelings, behaviors, even your abilities are always consistent with your self image. In short, you will act like the sort of person you conceive yourself to be. Not only this, but you literally cannot act otherwise, in spite of all your conscious efforts or willpower. The man or woman that conceives himself to be a failure type person will find in some way to fail in spite of all of his or her good intentions or their willpower, even if the opportunity is literally dumped in their lap. Okay. The reason why I want to read this quote too, okay, I've said on my channel before, if this is not your first time here, that manifesting is not a trying process. Can you take action in your reality? Absolutely. I have to get out of bed, right? I have to hit live stream on my channel. But when you truly understand what you're doing with your subconscious mind and creating these changes in your reality, you have to see, okay, all of your actions, feelings, and behaviors, even your abilities, are always consistent with your self image, your mindset, right? So, if somewhere in my subconscious mind, somewhere in my self concept, I don't believe I'm good enough, I don't believe I'm worthy, I don't believe that relationships are easy to materialize, I don't believe that people are trustworthy, I don't believe that getting the love that I want is easy and effortless, or that I am lovable and wanted and desired and desirable, or I don't believe that I know what to say, when to say, and how to say it. I don't believe that I can achieve anything that I want, right? Let's say somewhere in my self concept, those are the beliefs that I hold. Okay. And instead of addressing those things and addressing what I'm actually feeling, I decide to put a lot of action and hard work into achieving my dreams. Okay. I could get, pretty far with some action, but at some point, no matter what, if you don't actually address what your self concept is, you are always going to manifest and materialize what you actually believe and feel about yourself. It's going to materialize at some point. And typically, what happens in relationships is you get into a relationship with somebody, it's going really, really well. You start to be this very loving version of yourself. You feel comfortable within yourself. And then all of a sudden it's moving towards a commitment. And now it is time to actually have a relationship. And all those limiting beliefs get triggered. And you start feeling awkward and uncomfortable near your person. You start making negative assumptions about them. You start being anxious around them or worried about them. And that literally sabotages the relationship, because at some level, you did not actually believe that you could have that relationship, that you are worthy of that relationship, that you could keep that relationship, that people are trustworthy, whatever it may be. You were able to get the relationship to a certain point, but eventually, whatever those dominant beliefs were in your self-concept had to manifest. Okay. And the other quote that I want to read here from The Power of Awareness, this is actually a book by Neville Goddard. The quote says, "The great discovery of cause reveals that good or bad, man or woman, is the arbiter of their own fate, and that their concept of themselves determines the world in which they live." Okay. So when it comes to, at the beginning of this, I was talking about why mindset is important, right? So if I want to experience something new in my reality, I have to entertain a new version of me. I have to entertain new beliefs about myself. I have to create a whole new self concept about what I think relationships are, how easy they are, even if I have a specific person, what I believe about them, the assumptions that I'm making about them, right? In order to successfully pull off these changes that you want in your life, you need to fearlessly do that. And you need to see that the main focus here is always going to be on your self concept, because you are the one creating your reality. That's why the very first thing that I put in this title was self concept. Okay. If you try and jump ahead to just affirming for the changes that you want, but you haven't actually dealt with the beliefs that you hold about yourself or how you're feeling, it's going to be very difficult to sustain those results. Okay. The great discovery of cause reveals that good or bad, man or woman, is the arbiter of their own fate, based on the concept that they have of themselves, determines the world in which they live. Everybody and everything is treating you based on what you believe and feel about yourself. Now, this should be a very empowering realization. Does that mean that you should take ownership for the crappy things that people do to you? No, but you have to also see, why did somebody believe, or how did you get into the situation where somebody felt that it was okay to treat you that way? Because we think that our behaviors and how we're showing up and what we're doing are conscious, right? So if you look at psychology, they call this system one, system two being your conscious mind. We believe that our conscious mind is who we are, and how we're acting is all our own free will. But the truth is, it's actually your subconscious mind, whatever you believe and feel about yourself, whatever your self concept is. So if something is off in your self concept, you're not even going to really see the unconscious behaviors that you're materializing that eventually create this experience. And this is why I said in previous videos, by the time you're already in a feeling state or a set of circumstances that you don't like, there's been quite a few things that have already occurred where if you look back, you're going to see, oh, this belief got triggered here. I started acting different there. Now, again, does this mean that you should take responsibility for the crappy things that people do to you? No, not necessarily, but it should give you a level of awareness to have compassion and let it go and actually place the focus on where you need to, make the change within yourself and take the learning lessons from everything that has occurred from you. Okay. And that's really important because if we're going to get into the feeling state in a second, but if you're pining away over somebody or you're emotionally disrupted about the things that have occurred to you and you're holding on to past resentments or fights, that is going to get in the way of you being able to either fix a relationship or move into a new relationship that you want to create. Okay. So there has to be a level of accountability and awareness that goes into seeing that, oh, the focus needs to be on me first and foremost. And we're going to talk a bit more about that in the feeling state part of this video. Okay. The next thing that I want to talk about is internal dialogue. Okay. So this is from psychologyspot.com. A positive internal dialogue will allow us to use our psychological resources more efficiently to deal with threats. Psychologists at the University of California found that channeling self-affirmations constructively helps us counteract the different pitfalls of automatic thinking that reduce our cognitive resources. In other words, focusing only on obstacles and conflicts limits our cognitive resources to solve the situation and causes us to be trapped in a spiral marked by complaints and negativity. Okay. There's another reason why I chose this quote too. So, a lot of what I'll see people do is they get stuck on everything that has occurred and bringing up the old story. Okay. And that's really just a byproduct of wherever you are in your belief system and the work that you've done on your self concept. But one thing that I've said in my content consistently is when you are wanting to make this change and you're still emotionally disrupted by the things that have occurred to you, the first thing that you want to do is find a sense of stability. Okay. Because if you continue, again, this goes into the concept of circumstances don't matter. If you continue to focus on the circumstances and the problems, one, you're not actually addressing your self concept, but two, you're going to find that you get trapped in this spiral of complaints and negativity, which is not going to move you towards your desired outcome. So the other reason why I chose this quote too is because there is tons and tons and tons and tons of research surrounding affirmations and how useful they actually are. And especially I don't know if there's a lot of research for the use of affirmations while you're asleep, but definitely affirmations give you the ability to build new beliefs and integrate a new self-concept when used properly. Okay. So the effectiveness of the nighttime affirmations is there as long as it's actually addressing the changes that need to occur with you. And I try to make sure that, again, if this is your first time here on my channel, then you probably have no idea. I have quite a few affirmation recordings that are 8 hours long that you can sleep with on at nighttime. But I try to make sure that those affirmation recordings that I have created actually address the beliefs that need to change. And most of the time, okay, especially when it comes to romantic relationships, that is feeling worthy, feeling deserving, trusting, having good beliefs about yourself, seeing yourself as being able to maintain your relationship, seeing yourself as good enough to be in a relationship, that being in a relationship is easy, that commitment is easy for you to materialize in your life, and then also having good assumptions and beliefs about the people that are around you. Okay. So you want to see here though, that, again, back to this quote, channeling self-affirmations constructively helps us counteract the different pitfalls of automatic thinking. So when you are in very pressing circumstances, I try and tell you guys, drop the focus on the circumstance. Okay. Don't even try to affirm for it to be differently yet. Drop it from your mind and focus purely on your self concept. Because when you are in a distressing space and you keep going over it in your mind over and over and over and over again, you're not even in the vicinity to see clearly or to create the change that you want. You need to be able to soothe yourself and actually put the focus on and ask yourself what occurred here and what needs to change within myself that's going to get me the result that I desire. Okay. And that does require you being able to drop the focus on whatever is distressing you. Like the video that I posted 2 days ago, the reason why I really feel that it took so long for me to really bring this all together is because I kept on allowing my feeling state to get knocked off. I was distressed by what was going on. I wasn't able to drop it from my awareness. And the moment that I genuinely dropped it from my awareness, which means I did not really think about it anymore, I got to a general space of stability within myself. And I really was building my self concept and shifting my feeling state purely just for me to feel better. I was then able to focus in a way that got me the results that I desired. So the first step to creating these changes when you're in a low place is to realize you can't meet resistance with resistance. If you push against it, you're going to get more resistance. You have to actually drop the focus on the circumstances and realize if I want to create the result that I desire, I'm going to realize that the circumstances don't matter, that I need to become the change. I need to work on my self concept. I need to feel better for me. And I need to place my focus over here. And I will be able to change these things and take the urgency away from what is going on so that you can actually place your focus where it needs to be. And you need to do that fearlessly. And you need to stop focusing on the things that are not working for you, because the more you focus on them, the worse you're going to feel, the more anxious you're going to feel, and you're not really going to be able to get the results that you desire. And I definitely don't suggest you affirming through it. I suggest you purely focusing on your self-concept, creating stability for yourself before you even start to affirm for the things that you want. Okay. And what does that mean? By the time you do any techniques, you should be feeling like you're detached from the old story. You're not relating to that version of you anymore. You feel good in your life and you're able to entertain something in your mind in a pure way, and you just are enjoying life again. If you are still upset and bothered by the things that have gone on in your life or the changes that you want to make and how they're not here yet, you need to focus on dropping the topic a little bit and put your attention more on your self-concept. Okay. All right. We're going to talk a little bit about perception. So perception acts this is from Psychology Today. Perception acts as a lens through which we view our reality. Our perceptions influence how we focus on, process, remember, interpret, understand, synthesize, decide about, and act on reality. Okay. When it comes to actually changing your self-concept and manifesting these changes in your reality, there's going to be a perception shift that occurs. So when you don't have a good self-concept, or you don't have good beliefs about love, or you don't have good beliefs about this partner, or assumptions or expectations about this partner, what happens is that it alters your perception, right? So if I'm dominantly believing that relationships aren't good, that I can't trust in relationships, or that I think that, people aren't trustworthy, that's going to shift my perception of my reality. And I'm going to start to subconsciously and unconsciously create and seek out problems that create that belief or whatever it is in my life. Okay. That's how brilliant our minds are. So imagine how brilliant your mind, if your mind is that brilliant, then when you augment it with the right belief system and you self-regulate your feeling state, instead of creating the things that you don't want, imagine all the beautiful things that you're able to create. Okay. So I just want to say that, but there should be a perception shift that occurs when you actually accurately apply what I'm talking about here, which we're going to get into the steps of that in a second. But I wanted to say all this here first, because this is really, really important for you to understand. In order to materialize the desired results or manifest the desired results that you want in your reality, it comes down to your mindset, your self-concept, what you're feeling, and what you're dominantly entertaining and expecting in your life. And you should fearlessly change those things and not care about whether or not people think it's weird. It's actually very, very beautiful. It's very courageous of you to take accountability for the thoughts that you're entertaining, how you are making assumptions about the people in your reality, and decide to be better. Okay. So if people want to give you backlash for wanting to fix relationships or fix different aspects of your life, that's not for them to say. You have to decide what you want. Okay. And most, you're going to be successful if you actually implement what I'm talking about here. Or what's going to happen, let's say for somebody that wants to fix a relationship and you're building better beliefs about yourself, you'll come into a new awareness of where you think you're too good for this person and you'll get something better. Or you'll actually fix the relationship that you want because you've addressed what needs to change within yourself. Either way, it should be a healthy process for you when you accurately apply it. Okay. All right. Next thing I want to talk about, nervous system. Okay. Your feeling state is important. So I saw a comment on my channel today where somebody was talking about, should I drink? Should I be sober when I make these changes? And my answer, when it comes to making a self concept shift, you should do this from the most stable, sober state of being that you can possibly cultivate. Okay. Because when you're addressing subconscious beliefs, okay, so let's think about what I said earlier. Okay. So if you have a subconscious belief that you're not good enough for something and it comes into your life and you're automatically sabotaging this thing because at some core level you don't feel good enough for it, then when you directly address those beliefs head on, what do you think your body's going to do a little bit? It's going to try and resist it. Okay. And it's going to kind of try to sabotage this process a little bit. So the reason why I say you want to do this from the most sober, stable place that you possibly can is because when you're actually addressing these beliefs and making these changes within yourself, if you go have a drink or you smoke or you do something that alters your nervous system, that gives your subconscious mind a complete open pass to be like, oh, we're not conscious anymore. How about we manifest some behaviors that create a little bit of a mess over here? And it just makes the process a lot harder. Not to say that, your mind is out to get you, but it's just we do encounter resistance sometimes when we make these actual changes. So you want to make sure that when you're doing this, you're doing it from the most stable state of being that you possibly can, even if it's just for like 2 or 3 weeks or whatever. Okay. I think you're going to probably enjoy being sober as you make these changes, but your nervous system is really, really important. Okay. So with wherever you are, you need to find a general sense of stability first. Okay. And I have suggested people on my channel to do the breath work by Wim Hof. Okay. And I'll link it in the comments below once this video is posted, because what you're doing when you do that breath work exercise, you don't have to follow it exactly. So if you're not able to hold your breath that long or you're not able to breathe that quickly, it's fine. Do it at whatever pace feels good to you. The reason why that is so effective is because that is something you can do in the moment that manually overrides your nervous system, stimulates your vagus nerve, forces your parasympathetic nervous system to activate, and allows for you to relax and feel safe and secure in your body. It pulls you out of the triggered state of being. So if you're in a space right now where you want to create the relationship that you desire or fix a relationship that you desire, and you're extremely triggered by everything that has occurred, that's one of the first things you need to deal with. Yes, you want to address the beliefs, but you need to find a general sense of stability, and you need to be able to stabilize your nervous system so that you can feel safe and secure and comfortable in your body. This is so important. I can't stress this enough, you guys. When I have been in triggering circumstances, I got very disciplined with my breath work. I would do it at least 3 times a day. Or if I noticed my mind would not stop focusing on the circumstances or whatever was bothering me, I did it even more than 3 times a day, because if you can get disciplined with that for even a few days, you're going to relax your nervous system so much that's going to allow you to come into a new space of clarity, feel better, and actually go forward with being able to create what it is that you want. So please do not overlook the importance of your nervous system. Okay. All right. So we just talked about why mindset is important, what is self-concept, internal dialogue, why that is important to shift as well too. We talked a little bit about perception. Your perception is formed through your beliefs, your feelings. Your thoughts are a byproduct of whatever your beliefs and your feelings are. Okay, so we're going to go more into that in a second. And we talked a little bit about nervous system. Okay, these are all important things that you need to be aware of when it comes to actually sustainably creating a change in your life, either fixing a relationship or materializing a relationship that, let's say, you've never had a relationship before, or you've had a few kind of crappy relationships and you're totally done repeating like undesirable patterns and you want to have the love that you want in your life. Okay. So the other thing that we need to talk about are attachment models. Okay. I'm not a therapist. Okay. I'm not going to diagnose anybody, but I do want to say this. Okay. The belief tracks at nighttime, when you change your self concept, should shift you into having a secure attachment style, which means that you have good beliefs about yourself, you have good beliefs about other people and the world at large, and you feel safe and secure in your body, and you feel trustworthy of the people around you. Okay. So you want to make sure when you're adjusting your self concept that you are really focusing on trust, feeling lovable, feeling worthy, feeling deserving, feeling chosen, feeling that, or knowing that you can create this relationship, that you're worthy of this relationship, that maintaining this relationship is easy, all things that I've already said. Okay. Now, there's a reason why I bring this up aside from the psychological aspect of having a secure attachment style. It goes into your ability to persist as well too. Okay, so when you are dominantly existing in a secure state, you're feeling safe, stable, right, and you're able to purely entertain what it is that you want. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more towards the end, but I want you to see here, and this is actually something that I've seen with people that have implemented what I talk about on my channel, is they'll go to therapy and their therapist is blown away because they're like, oh, you actually have a secure attachment style. And they'll DM me and be like, Dylan, I've been listening to your affirmations. My therapist is so shook that now I have a secure attachment style. And it just is like, I love it. Okay. So, anyways, that makes me really happy. All right. So, we talked about all these different things. I've touched a little bit on beliefs. And I've been talking now for the past 30 minutes about self concept. So, I hope you see there's a huge reason why I spent the first 30 minutes of this video on self concept. That is how important it is. Okay. Do not overlook your self concept and working on the beliefs that you have about yourself. Because if you do not address those things and you try to just apply techniques to get what it is that you want, and you materialize this person coming back into your life and you haven't actually addressed your beliefs, you're going to recreate the old pattern and it's going to be really shitty. Excuse the language. So please work on your self concept, or you're going to materialize in a new relationship and you're going to recreate the old pattern. Okay. All right. So let's talk about feelings now. Okay. When you actually work on your self concept and you come into that place where you feel safe and secure within yourself, okay, I say that you want to get to a general place of stability in my content, right? Because you have to really see that love is not an experience that's occurring outside of you. It's not something that you're getting from your environment. Okay. So, love, happiness, and success are all feeling states and awarenesses that exist within you. And let me explain what that means, because I think people get a little bit confused with like, how am I supposed to align my feeling state? How am I supposed to shift myself? Okay. What does that even mean? Okay. So, this is the example I've been using in coaching lately. Okay. So, let's imagine you're at a party and it's a lame party. Everybody's standing on the walls, nobody's dancing, but then that one person walks in and all of a sudden the party comes alive. They're the life of the party. Everybody's up, everybody's dancing, everybody's enjoying this experience. How is that person creating that in their reality and in bringing everybody else into that experience? Okay. It's because they have a feeling state within themselves. They don't care what anybody else is doing. And they are expressing from this internal feeling state, they are externally expressing it, and other people are feeling into it and joining them in on that experience. Okay. So, this is really important when it comes to materializing love, because when your beliefs are not aligned, and you're thinking that your person needs to show up in a particular way and do a particular thing and do X, Y, and Z for you to be able to feel love, or they need to text you back right away, or they need to like do whatever for you to feel love, you are going to find it very difficult to maintain that relationship. Okay. So when you realize that you have the choice to choose how you want to feel at any time, the only time that it's difficult to shift your feeling state is when your nervous system is dysregulated or you have limiting beliefs that keep forcing your awareness onto the problem. When you realize that, oh, I could do anything today. In fact, I don't need to sit here and cry or victimize about myself about the things that have occurred in my life. I can literally do anything that helps me feel love, confident, joy, sexy, desired, desirable. Okay. When you start to create that feeling state within yourself and you realize that love is not outside of you, that it's an experience that's created within you, sustained within you, that you are sharing externally with the people around you, that is going to be when you're able to attract in and maintain the love that you want in your life. You're not getting it from your partner. Okay. You're not getting it from your parents. You're not getting it from your friends. Does it feel good? Do we get to enjoy the experience when they are there with us? Absolutely yes, right? It sucks when you're by yourself, but that doesn't mean that love is something outside of you that you're gaining from other people. You have to decide, am I done feeling sad and upset about the things that have occurred to me in my life? And if I am, what can I do today that actually aligns me to feeling love within myself in a way that I can self-sustain it within myself? And this is why I brought up a secure attachment style. Because when you feel secure and you have good beliefs about yourself and good beliefs about the world at large and people and relationships, then you're able to relax. You're not being bombarded with unconscious thoughts of worries, doubts, and fears and what other people are doing that are throwing off your feeling state. You're able to feel safe and secure with you and what you're able to achieve in your life and what you're able to create in your life. Then you're able to maintain a feeling state. Okay. You're able to feel love within yourself. And that's very necessary. It's not coming from anybody outside of you, it's coming from you. Okay. Now, let's talk about how do you know when you've actually shifted your feeling state? Okay. And all of these things connect, you guys. This is all information that you need to know when it goes into creating your relationship. Okay. I know that these are kind of like different topics that I'm touching on, and I haven't really gotten to the techniques yet. We're going to get to the techniques of manifesting and creating this relationship. But you have to first understand that you have to change your beliefs and you have to shift and give, be the love you want to experience, or be the success that you want to experience, be that confident version of you. You have to give yourself the permission to feel that way fearlessly and show up this way before you even get to the relationship aspect. Can you skip ahead and force it? Yes, you can. But if you want it to be sustainable, you're going to listen to what I'm saying. Okay. All right. So how can we conceptualize or understand what a state shift actually means? Okay. This is my easiest way of understanding it. When you are sad, what are you thinking about? You're thinking about things that feel bad to you. You're thinking about crappy thoughts. You're thinking about your previous experiences. You're thinking about all the horrible things that have happened in the world, right? Are you trying to think that way? No, you're not. That's just where your mind is going because you're in a sad state. When you are happy and you are filled with love, what are you thinking about? You're thinking about the good times in your relationships. You're thinking about the things that are happy to you, that are joyful for you. Are you trying to do that? No. Okay. So when you are feeling love and you're feeling happy and fulfilled within yourself, are you going to think about all the crappy things that have happened to you? No, you're not. When you're sad and you're feeling bad about yourself, are you going to think about all the good, happy things that are occurring in the world? No, you're not. Okay. So how can you tell when you've actually shifted your feeling state? You are not going to focus on circumstances anymore. In fact, especially in a relationship that you want to fix. Okay. When you actually haven't shifted your feeling state, your mind is going to be dominantly gravitating towards the problems, what this person said, your worries, your doubts, your fears, all the arguments, everything that unfolded. You're still going to be living in the old story, and you may be lying to yourself and denying it and trying to fight against it, but that's where you are in your feeling state. Okay. The faster you can be honest about it, the quicker you can change this. I'm just being honest here. Okay. When you actually shift your feeling state, okay, and you're in a state of love, you should see that you're able to turn whatever it is that you want to create into your life a positive trigger. So even if you don't have a specific person, when your feeling state is not aligned, then you're going to be negatively triggered when you see other people in happy relationships. You're going to be negatively triggered when you see other people having the things that you want. You're going to feel victimized by it. You're going to be looking at it like with jealousy or feeling like you're left out from that experience. However, when you actually shift your feeling state, you're going to be able to indulge in that and see it as a positive trigger and see it as something that, yeah, I totally relate to that. Okay. Now, this goes back to what I said at the beginning though. Okay. So your internal dialogue. Okay. So you have to, in order to shift your feeling state, it's very difficult to do that by continuing to focus on the problem. So this is where the nightly affirmations are important. So, channeling self affirmations constructively helps us counteract the different pitfalls of automatic thinking that reduce our cognitive resources. In other words, focusing only on obstacles and conflicts limits our cognitive resources to solve the situation and causes us to be trapped in a spiral marked by complaints and negativity. Okay, that's why I used that quote. So, when you find that you're dominantly in a sad feeling state, if the first thing that you want to do is drop it, don't even try to affirm against it yet. Because if you can work on your beliefs and then ask yourself, what can I do today to just feel better with myself? Like this version of me that has this desired outcome that I want, this relationship that I want, that version of me is going to be generally feeling confident, happy, stable, secure in their life, joyful, adventurous, right? So, what can I do today that drops my focus on this and helps me align to this general feeling state? Okay. When you generally align to this feeling state, then you should be able to notice that you've actually shifted in your state of awareness, and the thing that was negatively triggering you before is no longer negatively triggering you, and you're able to consciously think about it differently and persist with whatever it is that you want to create. Okay. Which leads me to the last point: beliefs, feelings, thoughts. Okay. So when you are wanting to manifest something in your life or materialize something in your life, okay? You want to think about it in the most pure way that you possibly can, okay? So the intention and the idea here is when your beliefs are aligned and your feeling state is aligned, you shouldn't have contradicting thoughts to this thing that you want, okay? You should be able to entertain it in the way in your mind, the way you want to experience it. Not only that, okay? When conflicts or circumstances or challenges pop up, if your beliefs are actually if your beliefs are actually really aligned, you're not going to perceive those challenges or circumstances as permanent or things that are in the way of you getting what you want. Okay. So if I genuinely get the beliefs in alignment of I can create anything, I'm worthy, I'm deserving, I am stable, I'm secure, I'm wifey, I'm husband, I am easy to commit to. Getting commitment is the easiest thing for me to get. Then when somebody comes up to you and says that's never going to happen for you or I don't like you, you're going to be able to laugh it off in a really cool, calm, confident way that's very attractive. You're not going to react to it emotionally or feel like that's true for you. Okay, so that's the first aspect. When your beliefs are aligned, then shit can't throw you off, essentially, is what I'm saying. Okay. And the other beautiful thing here that is just like literally the cherry on the top of all this is when you realize that love is not something outside of you, that it's something that you gain within yourself, then you really don't feel into these things because you're like, it's fine that you're saying that because I already feel fulfilled and loved within myself. So if you want to play hard to get or act that way, I'm cool. Like I'm good. I'm just going to continue to have a really good day and feel really awesome with myself. I'm going to create my experience and persist with what I know I'm going to create. And I'm so stable and secure and attractive within myself, loving, compassionate, and understanding. I am an amazing boyfriend or girlfriend, and I'm not going to force you to do anything. I'm not going to manipulate you to do anything. Do your own thing. I'm over here feeling good with myself. And that level of stability and security within yourself is like seeing somebody at a party that is the life of the party and you want to join in with them. Okay. All right. So that's the other beautiful part of when you get your beliefs in alignment and your feelings stay in alignment is you don't really get triggered by how people are showing up because you realize love is no longer outside of you. It's something that you create within yourself that you're extending to the people around you. Okay. All right. So let's talk about now thoughts and techniques. So when you get your self concept aligned, and you're able to feel the love that you want to create in your life, then you're able to step into, you could do techniques before this. You don't have to do it in this order. I just suggest you do it in this order. You can either consciously affirm for what it is that you want, you can visualize for it, you can script for it, you can meditate on it. Okay. Now, the key thing here, how you're going to tell when you're actually aligned and your feeling state is aligned, is that you're not going to be doing the technique to feel better. Okay. You're already going to feel aligned with what it is that you want to experience. And this technique just takes you deeper into that feeling. And you come out of whatever technique that you're doing and you're able to move on through your life, still existing in that feeling state. So if you haven't actually shifted your self concept and what you're feeling, then you're going to find that you're going to be trying to do a technique to feel better. You're going to be doing it from a desperate place. You're going to be doing it with a lot of anxiety. You're going to be continually going back to it and doing it, hoping that it's going to work. If that's where you are, focus on your self concept and your feeling state. Okay. So when you actually do these techniques, anytime that I've ever needed to really change something in my reality, I would only sit down for maybe 10 minutes twice a day and do a technique. Okay, which was 3 affirmations that moved me closer to what I wanted or were the end state of what I wanted, or a visualization that encapsulated that. Or I don't really script, so I didn't do that. But I was able to do this technique for maybe 5, 10 minutes, maybe twice a day, maybe as I'm going to sleep. And then I'm able to move on my day through my day feeling good. Now, the reason why I say you want to have your self concept and your feeling state aligned is because if at some level you do not have the belief, so let's say you are trying to affirm, I have the most amazing relationship, or I am worthy of this relationship, or this person is totally coming towards me, or they're thinking of me and they want me, whatever you want to affirm, okay? But there's a belief in you that is, I'm not worthy of the relationship. Relationships are difficult. I can't sustain what it is that I want. Then you're going to have a conflict in your self-concept and what you're trying to consciously apply. Okay. When you actually get those beliefs in alignment, then you come in with a technique. And what should happen is your mind accepts this thing that you're impressing on it And then it starts to unconsciously materialize the behaviors and the awareness of your reality and the version of you that can sustain this result. And it should be able to integrate this result into your life on an unconscious manner. And all you're doing when you're doing techniques is you're telling your mind, hey, this is what I want you to do to create what it is that I want. Okay. And your mind, if your beliefs and your feeling state is aligned, is like, okay, cool. We're going to show up this way unconsciously in your body language and your behaviors, what you're doing in your reality. And not only that, the thing that I really noticed with your feeling state, okay, so I'm talking more about the behavioral aspect of manifesting things because that's where it is sustainable, is being able to actually continually show up as this version of you. When your feeling state is aligned, this is again why I believe Neville Goddard says the feeling is a secret. That's when you're able to actually manifest things to you. So if I'm in an aligned, if I'm feeling love within myself, if I'm feeling the way that I would feel if I have what I want, and I'm consistently feeling that way, and I go into a technique to materialize something in as my experience, and I normalize the idea of having this thing in my life, and there's no need, no worry, no doubt, no obsession. I'm feeling good. I'm just purely entertaining this because I know it's going to unfold. The more that your feeling state is aligned, the faster it actually materializes into your experience. Okay. So you just want to see, like, if you're doing techniques and you're not getting results and you're feeling bad each day and you haven't actually worked on your self concept and purely, and I'm telling you, like, purely just work on your self concept for a little bit. It doesn't have to be a long time. You could take like 1 or 2 weeks. If you can genuinely tell yourself, drop, like, hey, we're going to stop focusing on all the things that we don't want. We're going to detach from our old story and purely focus on our self concept and feel better. Then you're going to see that on this journey of just focusing on yourself and cultivating love and trust within yourself and stabilizing your nervous system and cultivating a better feeling state, that you're able to actually implement these changes a lot more easily. Okay. So the last thing that I want to end on is for your self concept and creating these changes in your life. You want to identify the version of you. I probably should have said this at the beginning of the video. We're like 46 minutes in, and this probably should have gone at the beginning, but it's totally fine. If you're here, then great. It seems like most people that were watching have stayed this whole time. So you guys are true. Like, you guys are here with me. We're going on this journey together. Okay. When you're creating your self concept or whatever it is that you want to experience in your life, you want to really ask yourself, who is that version of me? How are they showing up in their reality? What behaviors and habits do they have? How are they operating? Once you can use your imagination to identify and create this version of you, once you're clear on that version of you that can sustain the results that you desire, how you believe relationships are, what you believe is true for you, all these different aspects of this self concept, then you want to take that version that you've created in your mind and create a belief system that aligns with that version of you that can sustain this result. Okay. And that you can either, I have affirmation tracks on my channel that I've tried to make that are general enough for you guys to implement these changes. A lot of people have success with the ones that are on my channel. Um, just make sure that the belief system that you're building is aligned with what you want to experience. And you don't need to necessarily figure out every single limiting belief that you have. Most of the things that get in the way of us being able to sustain what we want is just not feeling deserving, worthy, good enough, stable, secure within ourselves. So place the focus more on what are the beliefs that I would have if I was able to sustain the results that I desire in my life. Who is that version of me? Okay. All right. So the last thing that I want to say is when you're integrating your beliefs, okay, if you're waking up every day and you are feeling like crap and you are not doing anything to change that, it's going to delay this process. Okay. So you don't need to try to force yourself to be this version of you if you're sleeping with the belief track on at nighttime, but you do need to be aware of what your feeling state is. So if you're waking up every day and you're crying and you're feeling defeated and you keep focusing on circumstances and you just allow yourself to do that, it's going to take a lot longer. So you need to be very aware of what you're feeling each day and deliberately step in. You don't need to flip your thoughts necessarily, but you need to genuinely ask yourself, what can I do right now? How can I set up my day in a way that allows for me to sustain the feeling state that I would be in if I had what I wanted? What kind of music can I listen to? What kind of activities can I engage in? Should I go work out? Like, what can I do that helps me feel proud and confident and stable and secure purely within myself, just for me? Okay, especially at the beginning of when you're making this change. That means you need to monitor your behaviors. Okay, so I'm going to end this video on this last topic that doesn't really relate too much. But if you are sitting there every day watching tarot card videos, going on TikTok, watching content that is fueling your fears and your doubts. You need to stop doing that. Okay. Now, especially when it comes to creating the relationship that you desire, you are the only person, you and your person are the only ones that are in that relationship. Okay. You know your person. You know whether or not this person has been good to you, bad to you, whether you messed up the relationship, whatever's been going on. Okay. When you start interjecting everybody else's opinions and you start grasping and looking for information and you get everybody else's limitations and beliefs being imposed on that, it gets a lot more difficult. So you need to decide what it is that you want and fearlessly go after that. Also, this is no shade for people that do tarot card videos or psychics, but you have to really ask yourself, would this stable, secure version of me be going and watching tarot card videos to make life decisions? Or should I build my beliefs and feel confident and stable and secure within myself? And you need to cut out anything that does not allow for you to feel confident and stable and secure within yourself, period. You're creating your reality. You're the one that is doing it all. You're the one that has to decide whether or not it's achievable for you. And if you keep seeking external sources to tell you whether or not you can create the things that you want in your life, you need to work on your beliefs and your self-confidence. Okay. Alrighty. So that was I told you guys this was going to be a long video. I wasn't playing today. Okay. The last thing I want to stress this again. Please, if you're not feeling good with yourself and you haven't actually addressed your self-concept and you're just trying to affirm for changes in your life, you're going to be successful. I don't want to say that technique doesn't work. It does work. You can straight affirm things into your reality. But I find that creating sustainable results in your life requires a genuine self-concept change. And the fastest way to materialize these things in your life is when you are in a calm, relaxed, confident state and you're able to entertain something from a pure space where you're not having tons of contradicting thoughts. So if you're dominantly existing with more fears and doubts, taking a mental vacation from it and a break from it and focusing purely on your self-concept and getting into a better feeling state is going to allow for you to apply whatever technique you want to do in a way that gets you results much more quickly. At the end of the day, the thing here is there's not really any rules, but you want to ask yourself what is sustainable for you and what feels good. If what you're doing doesn't feel good, then change your approach, okay? And change it to something that feels good for you that is going to get you the results that you desire as well too. So what I'm saying here is be honest with yourself, okay? Don't do anything if it doesn't feel good. You don't have to give up on the things that you want. Sometimes you need to take a mental break from it so that you can come into a better place with yourself. That doesn't mean that you're not going to get what you want. That means you're being self-aware, you're being responsible with yourself, you're actually seeing what is healthy for you and what is not healthy for you, and you're making proper adjustments that are going to help you actually create the change that you want. Empower yourself to do that. Not like really, when you understand these things, there's no urgency to be had. All you need to do is focus on you, shift your feeling state, and pleasantly expect your outcome, and you're going to be able to get what you want. If you're feeling urgent or worried or doubtful or fearful, and you're not addressing that, you're not actually shifting your beliefs, and you're not fully aware of what your feeling state is, you're going to make this process harder. Okay? All right. And this also goes into sustaining your relationship as well too. Maybe you're not in a position where you have like an ex or somebody that you want to fix a relationship with. Maybe you just want to get into a relationship for the first time in your life. Be gentle with yourself, but focus on really creating and cultivating that version of you that can sustain the relationship that you want and integrate these beliefs about relationships in the world at large that are going to allow for you to have a secure attachment style, to self-create love as something within yourself, and be able to show up as the most vibrant, glowing, stable, secure, happy, confident version of you that can sustain the relationship that you want. It's you. You have to be the change. So if you want to get the relationship that you desire, you have to have the relationship with yourself the way you want to have a relationship with somebody else. And if you keep placing love, stability, happiness as something outside of you, you're going to attract and materialize relationships that are not very loving because you're not creating love as something within you. Okay. Alrighty. I love you all so much. I'll see you all later. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for all the thumbs up. And I hope you have a lovely day or night wherever you are. Bye.